We're often told to respect our elders. Their wisdom and cunning have allowed them to lead long lives and live on to share and pass experiences to us. But one thing anime does is have monstrous old people. In worlds where age is barely a handicap, we have prime examples of strong old people. Master Roshi, Genkai, and amongst countless others who ignite the hearts of the young protagonists they come across. But today, we examine history's strongest grandma. And that's the adorable yet deadly Granny Setsu. Now, Granny Setsu is already one of the top chefs in Toriko, regarded as a cooking legend. She obviously has time after time laid down hefty feasts for our protagonist, and her being Knocking Master Jiro's partner, a man who can break time itself and a member of Akasha's original family, she is one of the most dangerous people to walk the planet. Granny Setsu first appeared as nothing more than the stern, loving matriarch of the show. Ever loving and stern, we don't get to see her combat prowess until later in the Toriko series. First, during Ice Hell, where she appeared and actually saved Toriko, Tepai, and everyone else as the gourmet Coralito Faro was about to commence dispatching of the entire group. Granny Setsu, with a simple flex of her power, shattered Alfaro's weapons and rendered him helpless. Alfaro dispatched the parasitic Emperor and Helboros within an instant, both creatures with capture levels far beyond that of man. Even in her old age, however, she has enough strength to easily pass through Death Falls, the bomb-like waterfalls that took both Toriko and Sunny's full power to open. She is also capable to kill extremely high-level scum beasts that the Gourmet Corps had employed with them with single blows, and can even fight on equal ground against an opponent that managed to defeat a member of the Biotype Zero. Although, to be fair, Chiyo gained an advantage over Chin when his food honor faltered, and in the end of the battle was able to inflict the same damage and blah blah blah. It is revealed by some of the members of Neo that out of all of the fighters in the cooking stadium on both the Gourmet Corps and Chef's side, she is the strongest and has yet to get serious. Furthermore, they believed her to be capable of determining the outcome of the war itself. The fact that Zos, a high-ranked chef, Kosaru, and Karibo, two members of Biotype Zero, who all are relatively people that scale in around small island to mountain level, were sent out to kill her, is another testament to her immense combat prowess. Zaus's attacks are said to scar down to the genetic level. Setsu quickly healed from this, stating that it had been centuries since she last blood, and then even had 10 million of her calories drained by Kosai and wasn't visibly weakened. Overall, we get to see Granny Setsu's power displayed during the Gourmet Cooking Festival, which, by the way, in the manga is probably one of the best tournament arcs in all of history. The anime, on the other hand, is hot trash, so looking back, Granny Setsu participated in the Gourmet Cooking Festival. During the first event, a literal free-for-all swim across the bay area of their city, Setsu displayed the ability to run on top of water, a feat that at minimum requires a speed of 30 meters a second or 70 miles per hour. This dwarfed by her ability to move across the water faster than nearly every other contestant. We learned after the Gourmet Corps invasion that Granny Setsu's unique ability, like many in Toriko, is themed after a kitchen utensil, the pressure cooker. An ability that presumably can increase the pressure and gravity on the surrounding area. This ability is what allows her to seemingly walk on water and exert a strong pressure on any surrounding area. Granny Setsu uses this to realistically pop heads and entire crowds of high-level beast and Gourmet Corps hybrids. She could even implement her own level of intimidation that mimicked this, though she could have simply just done it. Granny Setsu goes on to explain that she can drop the pressure in an area to -50 Celsius. This would be comparable to being on the world's tallest mountain, not Mount Everest, but Mount Key of Hawaii, which along with its base underwater sits at 10,000 meters above sea level. This height causes unacclimated humans to pass out or require altitude sickness medicine, as the lack of oxygen in a person's body can have adverse side effects, like poisoning and death. During this festival, we see Granny Setsu get jumped by Chef Zaus, Chiyo, Karibo, and Kosai. All four of these people, as I've stated, are world-class chefs and fighters. Holding her own in this 4v1, she then goes on to reflect an attack from Joey. Now, I haven't talked about Joey, but they're basically the reincarnated body of Froze, inhabited by a gourmet spirit. Joey is in short a planet buster. The first attack they launched destroyed an entire section of the massive arena that could easily hold a million people. Granny Setsu deflected this attack, and Joey even states that only one of Akasha's 3 disciples could have deflected that blow, proving even more of Granny Setsu's ability. She is obviously gourmet world capable, meaning even in her old age, Setsu's body is capable of rapid environmental adaptation ranging from oxygen deprivation, starvation, drought, freezing, or even intense gravity. While we don't get more offensive feats per se from Granny Setsu, we learn that during the majority of the duration of the battles in the gourmet world, Granny Setsu had erected a barrier to shield the human world. This barrier reflected the Guinness punch, the same punch that killed one of the Blue Nitro and launched them into space. Being able to increase the air pressure, it's assumed the barriers she created are incredibly dense pockets of air, though this isn't directly confirmed. So keep in mind, once again as I state in all my videos, the Toriko Earth is 70% larger than our own with a comparable size to Jupiter, and Granny Setsu shielded the entire human civilization, which is about 30% of the world. Comparing the size of the human world, this means Granny Setsu could erect planet-sized barriers and deflect countless planet-jarring attacks and their resulting catastrophic fallout. The battles that took place in the gourmet world were landscape warping to planet shaking, along with several attacks reaching outer space. Defensively, Granny Setsu is a planetary-wide obstacle, and I'm convinced that simply being Jiro's partner and with all the experience she has of their gourmet world adventures, she'd easily ragdoll the majority of shonen characters. So I implore you, try to find me a harder to beat grandma. Thanks for watching, everybody.